You know, in a car care tip today, we're going to talk about finding a reputable mechanic. You know, that is more important than ever in today's world. And did you know that most of us actually distrust auto repair shops? You know, obviously, for many people, finding an honest mechanic at a fair price is not easy. It's stressful. And when you take your vehicle in for repairs, you're unsure what went wrong. I mean, quite obviously, many of us don't know what goes wrong when things go wrong. So you have to rely on somebody else. According to a new report from AAA, 2 out of 3 Americans do not trust auto repair shops in general. So what's their top beef? Excessive charges, unnecessary service recommendations, and poor past experiences. What's really interesting is age plays a big factor on how this works out for you. For example, if you're a baby boomer, 76% of baby boomers are likely to have a repair shop they absolutely trust. Only 56% of Generation Xers and about 55% of millennials. So in other words, younger people having a much harder time figuring out where to get their car fixed. I guess those of us that have been around a while kind of know what to do. So the purpose today is to talk about what you can do to make sure you find a great repair shop. You know, obviously it's critical that we really find a good shop to do our work. If you think about it, there's 75 million people who have driver's licenses in this country. That's a lot of cars. And yet, 1/3 of them, on average, have yet to find a trusted repair shop, which really leaves them vulnerable when trouble starts. I can tell you from our business at AAA, in many cases, somebody will call and the car will break down and they have no idea where to take it. You know, the good news is we can really tell people where to go. You know, my first job at AAA back in 1985 was to install the AAA approved repair shop program in New York State. And pretty much I took care of Albany to Rochester and everything in between, from Plattsburgh all the way down to Corning. And we put the program in place because we wanted to help identify trustworthy repair shops that are capable of doing good repairs. And the process that a AAA repair shop goes through to become approved is quite rigorous. And even if you're not a AAA member, when you see that sign out there, you know that the shop itself has undergone a tremendous amount of scrutiny before it was allowed to put that AAA sign out there. You know, when we go to put a facility in, we go through an investigative process. Besides inspecting the place and checking all their equipment and tools, we also make sure their technicians are ASE certified so that we know they have the proper schooling and education to basically fix cars, that they know what they're doing. And after we're through with the physical inspection and we check out their banking to make sure that they are fiscally solvent, the most important thing we do is we pull about 250 repair orders at random from previous customers, and we send them all a letter. And we ask them what they know about this shop. And we give them a survey, and that survey really is the key to whether somebody is a AAA approved shop or not. We ask a set of basic questions, and on each question, the facility has to score 90% or better in the affirmative before we will allow them to become AAA approved. The process takes months, and then once they're approved, the process continues because basically we survey the customers and ask them the same questions as basically day to day. Now, there's certain things that a AAA repair shop has to do once they're in the program. And these are the things that you want to check with any repair shop. So these rules apply to everybody if you know what to ask. Now, for example, what's the warranty? An approved repair shop, all repairs, parts, labor, and components are guaranteed for 24 months or 24,000 miles. So even no matter where you go, make sure that that's the type of warranty you're getting on your stuff. We also make sure that a written estimate is provided for the cost of the work performed on your vehicle, and the final cost may not exceed the estimate by more than 10% unless you say it's okay. We also guarantee the return of the old parts if you want them, with the exception of a core charge. For example, if you have a new alternator put in, the old one has to go back. But generally speaking, they'll keep it around and show it to you if that's what you want to see it. And most importantly, should you become unsatisfied with the work or have a complaint, these facilities have agreed to binding arbitration, which means one of our AAA investigators will actually look at the problem, investigate the complaint, and adjudicate it. And if let's just say the issue is in the favor of the consumer, the garage has agreed in contract to make it right, or whatever's arbitrated. So really, the garage puts themselves right on the front lines when they become AAA approved, because they realize that hey, if something doesn't go right here, we're putting our hands in basically the hands of AAA, whatever they decide. I can tell you that the process is so rigorous that over the years, I can tell you it is very rare that we've actually found a complaint whereas the shop made a huge mistake that required them to do it over again. In other words, usually if something's not right, the shop sees it themselves and fixes it long before we're ever involved. The truth of the matter is that sometimes things don't go right. And really, how the garage reacts to that is what's most important. Mistakes happen. Issues occur. A car has over 14,000 parts in it. You start working on them, things happen. You have human beings working on them. And really, the way they step up to the plate and take care of problems when they do occur is really what's the difference and separates the good shops from the not-so-good shops, so to speak. So really, when you look at going to find a place, and I want to stress that there are plenty of places that do good work that are not AAA approved. So I don't want you to think that's the only place capable of good repair. But what I do want you to know is that if you don't know where to go and you're going to pull a name out of a hat, you could go to AAA.com, put in your zip code, and you could go find the AAA approved repair shop that is available locally and that can meet your needs. And of course, if you use any other shop, there's certain things you should ask for. You should ask for an estimate up front. You should ask for your old parts back. These are things you should do to protect yourself as a consumer. One of the things I tell people all the time is that when you ask to see your old parts, well, they don't know what you know. In other words, maybe I want to see my old brake shoes. When I was in the repair business years ago, I loved showing people their old parts. Because, there's no really pride of ownership in car parts. But let's say we bought a new TV today. Well, what do? You take it home, you take it out of the box, you put it in place, you turn it on, kind of dust it off. You sit back in your easy chair and you enjoy it, right? You got pride of ownership. Well, it's pretty hard to have a pride of ownership in a pair of brake shoes. So what I always like to do is try to show people what it is they bought. You bought a pair of brake shoes. You want to see them? Here's what they look like. At least you can visually put together what you bought. I love showing people what a new brake shoe looked like and the one that came off of their car, for example. These are the kinds of habits that a lot of good garages have that instill confidence in what they're doing to people, and that's what gives them a good reputation and people feel comfortable with them. We all have professional people that are in our lives, whether they're doctors, our dentist, the guy that checks your eyes out every year, your ophthalmologist. Maybe you have a plumber, an electrician that works for you. But you maintain a relationship with people because you need them for certain tasks and that you want to have a reputable person. Well, the same should hold true with the repair business. Find the shop that you're comfortable with, create that relationship with them, and you'll feel a whole lot more at ease when you're dealing with auto repairs. Folks, it's 16 minutes past the hour. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about data and the value of data. Could your data be more valuable than your car itself? Could you think about that for a minute? I'm Ed Welsh, and you're listening to Auto Talk on your News Talk and Sports Leader, WIBX 950 and WIBX950.com.